Everyone, looks like we have got a quorum, and if everyone's here and prepared, we'll get going as soon as we get heads up from staff. Thanks. Yeah, it could be the fastest meeting ever. Yeah, I know. So that's two, so we only got three? Do we, oh wait, do we know if we have another one coming? Because you're recused as well?
Yeah, I was just asking who was going to recuse, so if Sam and Brian are recusing themselves,
We
then
need 4 votes, or?
you'll need 4, I believe, yeah. So we'll need one more.
Did anyone else confirm their presence today? Is Greg going to be here? Okay.
The other option is either Sam or Brian resign from their current capacity and their job. And then they can vote on the matter today.
Sam, you up for that? Yeah, do you want to? We can get started. Maybe go through your remarks, and then we'll come. All right, perfect. All right. Here we go. Then 9:02. Welcome everyone. Downtown Action Committee, December 19th, 2023. And if we could please start with a roll call.
Roger Jansen.
Present.
Nick Mielich. Brian Chagas.
Present.
Gregory Gabriel. Brad McPherson. Kim Dove.
Present.
Samuel Grace.
Present.
Okay, thanks.
And I'm Stephen Graham.
Stephen Graham. Thank you.
And then item 2 today is the approval of minutes. Anyone have any comments from the minutes from the November 8th meeting?
Motion to
Make a motion.
to approve.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? None. The minutes approved from November 8th. Item 3, report from City Urban Designer. Oh, now we got Brad present, so we've got our number.
Good
Add Brad
morning.
McPherson to the roll call. There we go.
Good morning, everyone. Claudio Aven, City Urban Designer. I just have a very brief update. One is that the City Commission approved the following items on November 13. One was city staff recommended some revisions to Article 18 that related to parklets. We, made revisions in collaboration with the DDA and community input to make them more accommodating. And the other one is a case that you actually saw back in October that related to some NORA district requirements, but also some other items related to cover structures and stories. So that was also passed in November 13. I do also want to point out that Michael Cuevas is no longer part of the Downtown Action Committee, and Stephen Graham is also stepping down, and this will be his last meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Claudia. Yeah, my remarks the same. Sam, I missed the last meeting, so welcome. Good to have you aboard. And Steve, we'll miss you. It's been a great run here. I think you've been added a lot to everything, conversations, really the legitimacy of this board, so we'll miss you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Let's see. Okay, good. Let's move on to item 5. Any ex parte communication for today's case? Okay.
Nope.
Seeing none, so noted, so no ex parte. We'll move into today's portion. Anyone in the audience that will be presenting testimony you're presenting, please stand and be sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Thank you.
And if anyone is going to speak, there's a card outside you can fill out and pass it up to the front. We'll make sure you're heard. And we'll move right into today's cases. We have a TDR case, 2309.
Mr. Chair, I have to recuse myself from case number 2309. I have a conflict of interest.
Okay, we got one, and I think, Sam, you're recused as well.
Yes, I also need to recuse myself. Samuel Grace,
Okay.
new case 2309.
Susan, you got to get all your votes. It's going to be a tough one.
Good thing I was here today.
Good morning.
I mean, Susan, Lauren, sorry.
What?
Nothing, never mind.
Oh, okay. Good morning. Lauren Thomas with Touchstone Web Realty. I'll be speaking on behalf of TDR case 23-09. This is in regards to 311 North Sapadilla, which came before DAC previously. It's going to be transferred to Nora's TDR Bank in the amount of 18,130 square feet of TDRs. So you previously approved this transfer for TDR case 2305. They are no longer moving forward with those TDRs. It has been approved by City Commission as well as Historic Preservation Board for the transfer. And that's it. Any questions?
None? Anyone have any questions for Lauren? Nope, none. Okay, thanks. We'll go ahead and hear from staff. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Chris Kimberly, Urban Design Planner. This is TDR case 2309. As Lauren said, it's 311 North Sapadilla to the Nora TDR Bank. It was transferred in April of this year previously, but neither the CRA or the ownership at the time, West Palm Beach Fern Holdings LLC, closed on that deal. So the certificate was never issued, and that's why this is being brought back again to retransfer these TDRs. It is going to the Nora TDR Bank. The banking of TDRs is permitted by Article 4, Section 94-132. And to date, Nora has acquired just over 760,000 square feet of TDRs. When a formal site plan application comes in that will utilize these TDRs, whether in its entirety or portions of that, those transfers from the bank to those properties will have to go before the DAC board again. Staff does find that this requested transfer of development rights is in compliance with Articles 4, Section 94-132, and we recommend approval. If there are any questions.
Okay, perfect. Anyone have any questions of Chris? No? Okay, thank you. That completes applicant and staff. Any public commentary from anyone in the audience on this case? All right, seeing no public comment, we'll close that. Any questions or comments from board members for staff or applicant? No? No. I've got a real problem with this one. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Anyone like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve Downtown Action Committee case number TDR 2309 as listed in the staff report dated December 13th, 2023 as follows. A, the transfer of 18,130 square feet of TDRs from 311 North Sapadilla Avenue to Nora East 1011 Owner LLC pursuant to the requirements of Section 94-132.
Okay, perfect. So motion or second?
I second.
Second, good. Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Well done. Top notch. Well, this is going to be the quickest meeting ever. So that concludes today's cases. Anyone have any unfinished business or new business? No? I think that's it, right?
Oh, yeah, I mean, if we're on, was there another case number or?
Unless I have the wrong agenda.
Other business on the other side.
Oh, shoot. Oh, yeah, my apologies. I was on the wrong thing. Other business.
I've been away 3 months, but I'm still sharp.
Cancellation, I know. Cancellation of TDR certificate 2209. My apologies. Go ahead, Claudia.
Claudio Aben, City Urban Designer. We just want to acknowledge that we received an affidavit from WPB Fern Holdings on November 17, 2023, related to the cancellation of TDR certificate number 2209. This certificate and TDR case went to the board on July of last year, but the TDRs were never sold. So right now the TDRs will remain in the sending site, and we will be canceling that certificate number 2209. And this is just to record it in our minutes and to provide you with that information.
Okay, we don't need to make any action on that right now. Good.
Claudia, do they need those as part of that development? Because they were aggregating
originally
a bunch of them, and
right. So WPV Fern Holdings, which is also here and part of the TDR case that you had. First, they were planning on having a high-rise development in Fern Street, but Since then, they decided to go to a mid-size level of a building. Because of that, they now are transferring or selling some of the TDRs that they have in excess. They're no longer going to be utilizing those TDRs.
So they're potentially back on the market?
Yes.
There we go. Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, now any other bits? Yeah.
Yeah, just before we adjourn, Mr. Chair, I obviously just wanted to take the opportunity to, thank my fellow board members. Some of you I've been on for, I realised when I put in my resignation that it's been 7 years, so it's gone a long time. Well, it's gone quickly. So I appreciate working with all of the board. I think everyone on the board and staff do an amazing job. I think over the 7 years I've been on here, we've dealt with some really interesting projects, some very, very contentious projects, but ones that I think have, been pretty catalytic for the city and really, really transformed the city in accordance with the vision that this committee and the master plan's always had. So I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm still going to be around, but unfortunately just other things going on in personal work commitments, things like that, just make it difficult for me to commit to the regular monthly meetings at the moment. So appreciate everybody here, and I'll probably see you again in the near future. So thank you.
So. Yeah, thanks. And like I say, appreciate all your time and energy. It's really been a great run. So we'll miss you. Rick, since this short meeting, is anything you want to summarize from this year, and anything looking forward to next year, since you sort of got your finger on the pulse of all projects?
Well, I'll say on behalf of the staff, we'll miss Stephen, and we chatted a little bit before the meeting, but again, we appreciate all of his efforts, all of the time he spent with the DAC and working. And like he said, we've been able to implement a lot of what we had contained in the downtown master plan, and glad to see that the plan is coming to fruition. One of the things I think I have mentioned to this board in the past is the concern I share, and I certainly share this with the mayor as well, but in our downtown master plan, again, we are part of a transportation concurrency exception area. So there's a ratio of residential to non-residential that we must maintain and have had to maintain since 1997. So I'm pleased to say that we've got a tremendous amount of residential development in the downtown, so much so that we don't need to build another unit, and we could still build the remaining non-residential that we have. So we have roughly 10.3 million square feet of non-residential. We had to build 6,934 residential units downtown. That number now, with everything under construction or already built, is in excess of 9,000. So the residential to non-residential ratio we will meet. But having said that, we have a cap of about 15.1 million square feet of non-residential. We're at 10.3 now. With everything under construction, we'll be at 11.8. So we have to identify what are we going to do as we near that cap of 15.1. So with that in mind, we have continued work on both a mobility study for our downtown as well as a traffic study. The TCEA that was approved by both Palm Beach County and the state. So any alternative to that or any revision, extension, what have you, will have to be dealt with on both the county and the state level. But we are just now embarking on a detailed traffic study to see if that 15.1 cap or ceiling, if you will, needs to be adjusted. Certainly with everything we're doing with mobility. Again, 10 years ago, nobody envisioned that we would have a Bright Line train station running through our downtown. Certainly with some of the other mobility factors that we're incorporating, we think that should allow for more capacity. So that's just something we're working on, and as we get further along in our studies, certainly I'll be back before this board and talk in more detail as to where we are. But.
Yeah. I know that over the past couple of years or year, there's been a handful or more towers approved. Do you know currently how many of those are in for building permit or any projected start dates?
So we've done a little bit of analysis, and we have some unknowns. Nora certainly has a lot that they're going to be working on, but if you look at everything that's under construction now, presuming when all that gets built, that'll put us at about 11.8 million square feet of non-residential. Again, keep in mind the cap is 15.1. We have a lot of entitled projects, some of which will probably never get built. So if you include everything that's entitled and still has an approval, and up until very recently, we had a project, the Herrick Hotel, which is just north of the Canopy Hotel, that little vacant tract. That got approved in 2007. It still had a valid development order up until just a year ago. So we've got some projects like that. Jeff Green's Opera Site is a big development, 1 million plus square feet downtown. So if you look at everything that's entitled but not yet built, that puts you at about 14.6 million, I think the number is. So we have to start looking at that, and we want to get in front of it so we don't hit that cap and all of a sudden we realize, you know, we've got to do something. So we're starting well in advance of when we think we'll get to that number. But West Palm Point, if you remember, the big high-rise Class A office building right on Okeechobee behind Restoration Hardware, they're in for permits right now, so they're going to be moving forward. This board doesn't see the City Place projects, the square projects, because again, that's a level 3 DRI that goes to Planning Board and Commission. But as you know, they've knocked down the Movie Co. Theater, the Brio, and they've submitted 2 towers that are going to the Planning Board next week. They call them East-West Towers. That's approximately 820,000 square feet. So we're doing a lot of work related. They've got plans for the public blocks where the Cheesecake Factory is. So there's still a lot left to happen there, but they're quite anxious to move forward with a lot of these projects, so we're spending a lot of time with them. So we still have some larger things coming in. We have other projects that this board will see. We've had preliminary meetings. Some projects haven't been submitted yet, so we want to make sure they get submitted before we start talking about them. But we do see, I was talking to Stephen before the meeting, we are seeing a little bit of a slowdown in the permit activity. We could not, there was absolutely no way we could keep running at the pace we were 2 years ago with the COVID migration. You know, this time, 2 years ago, we were at about 5.5 million, so we'll be around 3 million in building permit revenue at the end of this month. So a little bit of a slowdown. The good news is we anticipate we're going to see a tremendous tax increase over the next couple of years with everything that we've had under construction and what's finishing up now.
Yeah. Wow, great. Exciting times. So,
Yep.
Can I throw out a question real quick?
yeah, go ahead, Brad.
Can you know, I heard the 11.8 of non-residential. Do you have a ballpark estimate of how much Class A office space is either in for permit or under construction, kind of combined?
Yeah, I've done a few presentations, and I show a slide that shows prior to 2008, we had 3 office buildings. You had Phillips Point, Esperante, and City Place South. That accounted for about 995,000 square feet. From 2008 to 2020, we did not have a single Class A office building come in. And if you remember, in 2018, we adopted the Okeechobee Business District as an incentive to try to encourage Class A office development. We now have about 3.4 million square feet in the pipeline right now. So between 1 Flagler, the 2 East-West Towers, 360 Rosemary, 515 Fern that was approved. You've got the Marriott office building. We haven't seen any movement on that. Certainly Jeff Green's project that's under construction. But when you add all of that up, it's 3.4. So we've gone from 0 in a 12-year period to about 3.4 in a 2-year window, 2 or 3 year window.
What's the Greens Towers, what was the final mix on the uses there post-COVID? I know it stalled because of some proportioning.
Yeah, so it's approximately 201 hotel rooms. It had to be 200,000 square feet of office. I think it's like 204.
Okay.
And then I mentioned the hotels had to be over 200. They're at 201. And then the residential units, I'm drawing a blank. I should know. I've looked at this so often.
That's all right. It's still that.
But it's about
general
200,000 square feet of office, 200 hotel rooms, and several hundred residential units.
And has any success with sort of all of the proposed attainable and affordable housing proponents?
I mean, the good news is, I'll mention that briefly as well. As this board may remember, we adopted a downtown workforce housing incentive a couple years ago. Hunter, who's not here, was looking at that a while ago for his project. And again, like Claudia mentioned, he originally was going to do a 25-story. Now he's doing a mid-rise. So we have that incentive. We adopted a resolution 30622 that applied citywide that basically said if you're going to do a workforce housing project, we will allow you to double your density, but 25% of your total unit mix had to be set aside for workforce housing. Then the Live Local Act went into effect on July 1st. We told developers you can wait for the Live Local Act or you can submit under our resolution 30622. And we actually had 6 projects come in around June 30th to come in under the resolution that was basically being sunset with the Live Local Act. So those are going through the approval process now. So those projects, again, if you have a multifamily 32 zoning district, again, this is outside the downtown, you can double to 64, but your total mix of units has to be, 25% have to be set aside. So what we're doing now is Alex Hansen, several months ago, presented the evaluation and appraisal report amendments to the comprehensive plan. That was transmitted about 3 weeks ago. Once that goes to the state and other review agencies for comments, we'll bring that back to City Commission for approval early next year. And then our hope is that we're going to go back to a resolution or ordinance that will mirror what we had in place before. So we're taking a look at that, but we want to revisit that because, quite frankly, nobody has taken advantage of the Live Local Act. It doesn't really help us. It applies to mixed-use districts in West Palm Beach. 65% minimum of your project has to be set aside for residential, and then 40% of that has to be set aside for workforce housing. So it's not much of an incentive. You get a break a little bit on the height, but you can only use the maximum density that's permitted in the city. And of course, downtown, we don't have a density cap, so we have to use 32 units. So under the old provision we had, you can, in some cases, double that. So we'll go back to something like that. So our staff is working on that now. We think we'll probably bring that back in May. We had a workshop meeting in this room with a bunch of developers. We had about 70 people show up. We'll do that again early next year once we have a draft of what we're working on and get feedback from the development community, and then hopefully get that adopted by the commission sometime in May. But workforce housing continues to be probably our #1 priority right now.
Was that Live Local? Was that a state bill or was that?
State bill, yes. Yeah, Senate Bill 102.
Yeah, 102.
I think the city can do the Local Policy Act much better.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Thanks for the summary.
Sure.
All right. Anybody else have anything? Oh, hey, Gregory, how are you? I miss you there. All right, so we'll wrap it up. Anyways, thank everyone. Thanks staff and everyone on the board. It's a great year, busy year, exciting times here, and enjoy the holidays, enjoy your families, and we'll see you in 2024. All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you.